Lindy's coming on here. Hi, Lindy, and some other people.
Hey. I don't know
Not sure who all's on now. I guess that everybody else is there. So I'm gonna just do a little mini lecture. The assignments for this week are all about learning about the concept of enzymes, which are a type of protein that affects the transfer of energy. So it's about metabolism. The assignment that's due Wednesday is a pretty short, like 5-minute video, just reviewing the basics of what enzymes are, and then asking you to reflect on some of the things I already think you should know about proteins and how those will relate to enzymes. But one of the things that they're going to talk about in that assignment, as well as in some of the practice problems that are due this Friday, is they're going to be talking about energy transfer. And they often use they talk about energy in the system. So, and they're usually talking about a chemical reaction. So if I had a lighter, right, and I light it up, when you think about this, is the energy increasing or decreasing in the system here, right? And most people think, oh, you lit the lighter, like there's energy being released. Or maybe they think about, oh, it's heating up the air. And really what the answer is that it depends. The energy in the air above the lighter is going up, but the energy of the lighter itself is going down. So it depends on the system you're talking about. And in biology, or in this class, when we are talking about energy, we're talking about the molecules in a metabolic pathway. So like this is the chemical equation for what's happening in the Bic lighter. There's a chemical inside of here called isobutane, which is the chemical formula here, C10H4. And it combines with oxygen in the air, and it produces carbon dioxide and water. Does that formula, other than the isobutane, look familiar to anybody? Anybody remember like a common biological chemical equation that looks almost the same as this?
Combustion.
Yeah, combustion, which we call, when we're talking about combustion in biology, we call it something else. What do our bodies burn?
Calories.
Do we know? Yes, calories. Yeah. And what are, yes, we do. We burn calories. But what, like a calorie is really just a measurement of energy. What's actually getting broken apart in your body? It's got a specific name. It's what your cells use. It's called glucose.
Oh, yeah.
You guys remember glucose?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is weird to get like feedback from people when I'm not. But so this equation looks just like the equation for as it's loading for cellular respiration, except instead of having C10H4 isobutane, what's in the lighter, the chemical that would go there would be C6H12O6, which is glucose. But it gets combined with oxygen and it produces carbon dioxide and water. And that's like a fundamental chemical reaction. So when biologists talk about this equation, when they talk about what happens with the lighter or what happens in your body when you burn calories, the question is, what happened to the energy of this system? Where is there more energy? Where is there less energy? And in this case, when I combust, it's a combustion reaction, C10H4 with oxygen, I release heat energy. And so there's less energy in the system at the end than there was at the beginning. But there's more energy in the system surrounding my lighter. When you guys start looking at energy diagrams and thinking about what enzymes are doing, sometimes enzymes are going to make it easier to put energy into the system and form things like glucose, C6H12O6. And we'll learn about that. That's the process of photosynthesis. So energy, so this equation, the arrow would be flipped around. So sometimes enzymes are involved in helping add energy into the system, and sometimes enzymes are involved in helping release energy from the system. But the key here is you've got to really think about the system as an isolated thing, as a boundary. So outside of the system, the energy could go there or it could come from there. But when we're talking about metabolism, like what's happening in your cell, it's a contained system. And so we just want to know, did the energy of that place go up or down? It's just a common misconception. And that's really, I don't have anything else that I wanted to tell you about that. I mean, other than that today, but you're going to see it when you start reading more about enzymes. They're going to be talking about the energy of the system, and you just got to make sure you're thinking about like, oh, the reactants and the products are the same system. All the same material is there. Did the energy in those reactants go up to create the products, or did the energy in the reactants go down to create the products? That's going to be the question you're asking yourself. So, any questions about that?
I don't think so. Is this like recording gonna be like on Schoology later?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I didn't record the beginning. I just recorded that little part. If you, I mean, you guys are here, so obviously you found my calendar of when I'm going to be doing these lectures. This is more just sort of a dedicated time for me to do mini lectures on topics specifically for AP Bio and for you to ask questions. And I'll always record those and post them. So if you can't come then, and if we get like group consensus that there's another time that's better to do this, I can do this at a different time too, or I can alternate it. I kind of figured the first week is sort of a trial run, and then people can say, oh, Mr. Burns, like it'd be great if we did some of these in the evening and some, so that I could be at some of them, or I like this is useful to me, or this is a waste of time. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a learning experience for me for sure. So, but yeah, I will be posting this. Are there any other questions right now? Things people would like to talk about overall, or about the design of the class, or what you're doing, or the assignments?
So will we be doing like online like tests then, or are we not doing any like of that?
That is a good question, Camille. To be honest, I'm probably not going to do many more multiple choice tests. I don't know how many of you are going to continue on and still try to take the AP exam, but they've changed the format. If you've been keeping up with my updates on that, yeah. So it's everybody's going to be taking a FRQ style test, 45-minute test. So it's also easier for me to assess that way. So I'm probably going to be assessing using labs and short activities where you're writing out answers. I may have to do a few multiple choice questions here and there, but my Miss Burns is coming in to take a picture of me.
It's the first day of school. Oh my God, everyone's mom is embarrassing. It's totally fine.
Yeah. So where was I? I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so there may be some multiple choice questions that I give as an assessment, but probably not. They're not super useful in this kind of format, really. Unless I think there's a topic that that lends itself to that. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I would just say I don't really know right now. The next assessed activity that's going to look like a summative assessment is going to be some lab work that you guys are going to be doing using online simulations of enzymes and photosynthesis and respiration. And it's going to look more like the labs that you're turning in for today than a multiple choice assessment.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose if I get a lot of feedback, people are like, I would like more multiple choice tests, I can add them in, but What other questions?
So then that folder, that's like the 3.1 through 3.3, is that everything that's due just this week? Is that like our week work, or?
It's mostly this week's work. The folders will mostly be divided up by 1 week segments. That folder, though, does have one lab. That's the lab we'll talk about on Wednesday. Once you've had a chance to look at a little bit of stuff about enzymes. That lab isn't going to be due until after we get back from spring break.
Right.
But you'll be sort of setting the parameters for that lab and thinking about it and this week, and then you'll just do the data analysis and stuff. And I think that final due date is, I think, the Tuesday or something like that after we get back from break. But on that Monday, when we come back from spring break, we'll be starting with 3.4 to 3.6 or something like that, which is respiration. That's a good question.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Anybody have any questions about the assignments that are due today? The lectin lab or the chi-squared tests or statistical tests?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll probably end the group part of this. I'll be back on in about a half an hour. So if you have individual questions, you can come in and talk to me, and that'll be the same hangout. But just, this is going to be new for all of us, and, be patient with me. I'm going to be patient with you for sure as we figure out how to learn this way. But just communicate with me. So if you're struggling to do something because you don't have, you're not able to meet with me, then we'll find another time we can meet. If you don't understand how to navigate, the learning digitally, or my system isn't working for you, just let me know. Message me on Schoology is probably going to be the easiest, unless Schoology keeps crashing like this. But you can also send me an email. And get in touch with me that way, or meet me during the office hours. And I won't do this lecture tomorrow. This is only every other day. This is on those kind of A days. Even though many of you may be working on stuff tomorrow for AP Bio. And then if everybody also, I guess one last thing, there's a little survey. If Schoology comes back on and you're able to get the link to it, it's more just so I know who's going to be taking the AP test, or who's planning on taking it. We're going to have missed a unit that I'm not going to cover as part of the requirements for AP Osseo style. So I'm going to be running, for people who are still taking it, which I think is, I'm hoping is still most of you. I don't think the AP board is going to have it be, I think they're modifying it in a way that makes sense to for students who are thrown into this crazy scene. But I will be doing some extra work over spring break that you guys could participate in if you wanted to make up some of the time we missed during those first couple weeks. Hopefully you've been, if you're planning on taking the AP test, looking at some of the stuff on Khan Academy. And I'll kind of be running a parallel but separate study work related to that, so that people who are either just really more worried about getting through the AP Bio class for Osseo and not so much about the assessment, they can focus on the stuff we're doing together as a class. And then people who want to do both can do the stuff we're doing as a class and then figure out how to best prepare themselves with my help for the stuff from Unit 6 that we're going to have missed. If that makes sense. I don't know if there's questions about that. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording this then, since I don't need to be recording this anymore. And if there aren't any other questions,